Did you know polymer clay can be made to look like artisanal glass? In today's episode, I'll show you how to create these stunning earrings that have an eye-catching glass effect focal. We'll dive into alcohol inks, silkscreening, bezeling, and make faux hammered metal. With the holidays right around the corner, these earrings in warm, rich jewel tones are the perfect statement piece for any festive look. I can't wait to share my process with you, so let's get started. I will begin by taking this gorgeous sheet of silver leaf and gently laying it over my white clay. Once it's looking great, I'll trim away any extra foil to reveal a clean, crisp finish. Now I'm going to run the clay through the pasta machine in one direction, then rotate the clay and run it through again. This double pass is what gives the crackle that neat square pattern. Next, I'll trim the foiled covered clay to better match the size of my silkscreen. Now it's time to bring this design to life with some vibrant alcohol inks. After applying alcohol to the polymer clay with the crackled metal leaf, you may notice some of the crackling starting to curl. I liked how this reaction added to the unique texture of the piece. Next, I'm going to use a paintbrush dipped in alcohol to gently move the ink across the surface, creating beautiful, fluid patterns as the colors blend and flow. You know I love a little sparkle, so let's take it up a notch with some metallic alcohol ink. This will add that perfect touch of shimmer to make the design even more fabulous. I'm going back in with the mojito ink to deepen those golden areas, adding extra dimension and richness to the piece. This really helps the colors pop and creates beautiful layers of depth. I'm using a straw to gently blow the inks across the surface, creating a unique and flowing design. Next, I lightly dab the surface with a paper towel to lift some of the ink, revealing subtle textures and adding a bit of contrast to the design. I've rolled out 20 grams of translucent clay to a number 9 setting, but I'm aiming for something even thinner, so I'll gently stretch it by hand until it's just the right thickness. Next, I'll carefully place the silkscreen onto my clay, making sure to secure it without pressing too hard. If the clay clogs the screen, it can ruin the print, so a light touch is key for a clean, crisp design. I'm applying a small strip of black acrylic paint along one edge of the silkscreen, and then using a squeegee to smoothly spread the paint across the surface. Once you've lifted the screen from the clay, be sure to wash it right away so it's ready for your next project. And here's our beautiful silkscreen pattern. Now let's move on to the next steps. With the inked clay on your work surface, carefully place the transparent silkscreen clay, print side down, onto the foiled ink slab. Gently smooth it with your hands, and then use a roller to firmly join the two layers together. Now I'm using my rock rose clay 2:5 ratio oval cutters to shape the clay. These cutters have clean, sharp edges and are super versatile for all kinds of projects. Let's go ahead and cut out our shapes. For a neat domed effect, place a layer of plastic wrap over your clay before cutting. You might need to press a little harder with the cutter, but it really enhances the look of your piece. This technique can cause the plastic wrap to stick to the surface after cutting, but that's okay. Just gently peel it off before moving on. Before curing, I like to lightly burnish my pieces to remove any fingerprints and securely attach them to the cardstock. Now that our pieces are cured, let me show you how I bezeled this focal using polymer clay. This technique creates an elegant golden frame that makes those rich greens really pop. We'll use an extruder with about 10 grams of graphite pearl clay shaped into a plug. Place the plug into the extruder, screw on the insert, and then begin extruding the clay. And here is our extruded clay, ready to be turned into a bezel. To give our bezel a beautiful golden color, I'm using a pigment powder to gently coat the surface. This creates a much more metallic finish than using a gold clay alone. Now I'll grab some liquid clay and a paintbrush to paint the sides of my clay focal. Since uncured clay won't stick to cured clay, the liquid clay will help bond the two pieces together. On a separate tile, I'll take the golden extruded clay and carefully wrap it around the focal. When the sides meet, I'll make a clean cut in the extruded clay and press it to join with the opposite side. Next, I'll gently press the bezel against the focal with my fingers, aiming to create a slight concave effect. I like to use this sculpting tool to smooth the seam of the bezel for a uniform look. It can be a bit finicky, so be patient and enjoy the process. You'll love the finished results. You can stop here for a minimalist look or proceed to the next steps to add more texture to the bezel. To add some extra pizzazz, I used a ball tool to create small indentations around the bezel's circumference. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. To create our dangle, I'm using about 20 grams of forest green clay and rolled to a setting number 3. I'll pass the clay through my pasta machine with an air conditioner sponge filter, flip it over, and repeat the process for a beautifully textured finish. Next, I'll use my Rock Rose 3:5 ratio oval cutter and apply the same doming effect we used for the focal. You might notice that the cutter doesn't always cut through completely during the doming effect. No worries. Just realign the cutter on the clay after removing the plastic and cut through entirely. Gently lift the clay from your work surface, remove any flashing from the edges, and place it onto a piece of cardstock. Take one of the cured focals with a bezel and carefully apply a thin layer of liquid clay to the back surface. You can use your fingers to smooth it out and wipe away any excess. Next, carefully place the focal bead onto the uncured green clay. I prefer mine slightly higher in the oval, but you can position it wherever you like. Then go ahead and repeat the same process for the second earring. Before curing, I used a dotting tool to make small indents where I plan to drill the hole for my jump ring. To create a faux hammered metal effect, I'll use the remaining forest green clay and my rock rose belladonna cutter. Since I'm only making 2 earring studs, I'll trim away some of the excess clay. With the green clay rolled to a number 2 setting on my pasta machine, I'm using the same golden pigment powder from the Bezel to completely coat the surface. I like to burnish the pigment powder into the surface to smooth it out and set it in place. Using a 7mm ball tool, I'll randomly indent the surface of the clay to achieve that hammered effect we're going for. It's that easy. Doesn't this look amazing? I just love this effect. Now I'll use my rock rose belladonna cutter and the doming method to cut out the stud portion of my earring. You might notice the edges of the stud show some green clay. To fix this, I'll place the cutouts on a tile and use a brush to apply additional pigment powder to the edges. I'll cure these pieces directly on the tile since the back will be treated with resin. Now that our dangle and stud are cured, we'll apply Sculpey gloss glaze over the areas with pigment powder for a nice finish. Using a fine-tipped paintbrush, I'll carefully apply the glaze to the areas with pigment powder, being sure to avoid any matte green clay, as the contrast between the glossy focal and the matte green adds a beautifully balanced feel to the design. With the dangle complete, I'll move on to the stud. I recommend attaching the post first. It was a bit tricky to glaze without it, and it'll give you something to hold on to while working. Let the glaze dry for about 30 minutes before applying another coat. I applied a total of 3 coats for extra protection. With the gloss dried, we can move on to resin. I quickly sanded the backs of the studs to create a bit of texture, or tooth, so the glue will adhere better when attaching the earring posts. To make sure the piece is clean and free of dust, before applying resin, I wipe off the surface with a bit of alcohol. My favorite brand of resin is Ultradome. Remember to always work in a well-ventilated area. Resins can release harmful fumes, so it's important to keep fresh air circulating in your workspace. Using a toothpick or a fine-tipped tool, apply a thin layer of resin evenly over the surface of your cured clay piece. Be sure to avoid overpouring, as too much resin can run off the edges and create an uneven finish. To remove any air bubbles in the resin, I run a lighter over the surface. Just be cautious when doing this. Now we'll repeat the resin process for the stud portion of our earrings. To support the dangle during drilling, I'm placing a wide popsicle stick on my workstation. With the power off, I'll slowly lower my number 60 drill bit to align with our previously marked indent on the dangle. Once I'm satisfied with the alignment, I'll drill the hole. To drill the hole in the stud, I made a small hole in the popsicle stick for added support and a consistent reference point. As you can see, there's a slight overhang for drill clearance, but there is still ample support for the stud to reduce flexing while drilling. Use pliers to gently twist open the jump ring rather than pulling the ends apart. Slide it through the drilled hole in your dangle, attach the earring stud to the other side, and twist it back to close securely. I just love how the glass effect, bold colors, and metallic accents really come together. These will be perfect for the holiday season or any special occasion. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give the video a like and consider subscribing for more polymer clay projects, tips, and techniques. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.